Here's the thing about pre-workout and intra-workout shakes. Some of us like them, some of us love them, some of us rely on them like they're a crutch. I've been known to do it myself. Sometimes you're just not quite feeling it and you need an extra boost. Sometimes you need a mega boost or you have longer workouts. That's what intra-workouts are really good for. Because stimulants and the pump factors and the blood flow just to get you going and charged up and turning into the Hulk. I mean, it can really make for a great workout. Some people have better natural energy and can get away without using that and can do it with diet and blah, 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 blah. If you do them later in the day, you might be too wired to go to sleep like I was last night. I didn't work out until 7, 8 o'clock because I was being creative for most of the day, and I pushed off my workout till later, and then I tried to go to bed around 1:30, which is late because I'm in bed by 11 most nights. I woke up to pee like probably 5 times, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8 to get out of bed. And I did not sleep that good, but one of the good ways to boost yourself in the morning, smoke a bowl.
Sometimes you get up and you're a little bit tired and wired, and then you need a little bit of an extra boost, and then you just smoke a bowl. You know, that can fire up your brain really good.
You might be a crash. Come on, Herman, shake it off. Do some Qigong.
Shake it off. 3, 2, shake it off. 3, 2, shake it off.
A big part of my morning is doing Qigong, something that I found is much easier to get out of the way early because I might not get around to it later, and I also noticed it really increases my energy when I do it earlier in the day. Clearly, I don't do it this fast. This is more of a sped up recording of my Qigong.
The thing about Wake and Bake is it can be fun, it can be creative, but can also walk the razor's edge between creativity and procrastination. So your day might not go in a straight line. It can zig and zag. Get it, zigzag.
Here we are with man's best friend. His name is Armand, and I get to take him on a walk twice a day and work on my neck tan.
I wear the gloves because this dog will tear my hands up with this leash, and other dogs tend to go after him, so I have to reel him in real fast. I have another pair of gloves where he's ripped through several of them and given me rope burns. It's quite a wild beast, this man, this dog.
And we are off to the races. Look how fast this dog goes. Don't you wish you could move this fast?
You will see a lot of blunt wrappers around here. Kind of helps that there's a party store on the corner that smells like mold. Kick, kick, kick. You gotta be careful with that kick, kick, kick. He can kick the poop if you don't get him away from the poop. Kick grass, kick dirt, kick rocks towards cars, people. Nobody is safe from the wrath of this crazy dog. If you're offended by seeing dog poop, then I'm sorry that you can't handle fecal matters. It's part of life. Touch goal. I just got done listening to a podcast, Bulletproof Radio, with Dave Asprey, and the guest was Jay Shetty. He was pitching his book, Think Like a Monk, and it was an excellent interview. I think we have a lot to learn from Eastern as well as Western teachings. It's walk it while I talk it. You walk it while I talk it. I'll talk about the monks and how I like to take Eastern philosophy. And I've been easing it into my life for a long time. I've been practicing Qigong for over 15, 16 years, I believe, on and off. Mostly on the last 5. I did martial arts growing up. I did Aikido and Taekwondo. I found Aikido to be quite boring. I only did it for a year, but it was the one art that I had to use in real life situations. It's amazing what you can do when somebody comes at you and you just throw them around like a rag doll. I did Taekwondo for a few years after that and eventually got bored with it. It got too stiff, and then I got out of it by the time I was done with high school, and it was time to move on to having a social life. And women. Yes. I really loved women back in high school. Now I love men. Just kidding. I still love women. Nothing wrong with men who love men and women who love women and people who love both. You know, if you want to play Discovery Channel, go for it. Another aspect of Eastern philosophy and religion that I take in is I also do mudras. Mudras are different finger movements with mantras. Mantras would be like sa, ta, na, ma. So you do that, you time it with the mudra. You do the mantra sa, ta, na, ma. Each one has a different meaning to it. This particular one, which I like to do while I walk Armand, you do for 2 minutes sa, ta, na, ma out loud, and then you do it for 2 minutes, I believe, still with the mudras, the finger movements, silently in your head. I read a book called Meditation as Medication, and he really breaks down very well the different mantras and the different mudras. And he also breaks down breathwork, which is another practice that I do and will sometimes do when I walk him. I did half of my breathwork this morning. I have one breath that I do where I breathe in and release. In through the nose, out through the mouth, really fast, as soon as you breathe it in. This is a Destressing breath. You do that 6 times. Another one, which is a grounding / centering breath. You breathe in through your mouth and out through your nose. You do that 6 times and it grounds you, it centers you, brings you into the moment. I did those this morning while I was getting breakfast ready, doing the dishes. That's sometimes I will. When I'm getting done preparing breakfast, I will do some of my breath work then while I'm doing the dishes and washing my hands and being very OCD. Just mix it all together. If you can stack habits on top of each other, you're going somewhere good, especially good habits. But I like to do breath work when I walk him as well. The thing is where we just left, they use all kinds of toxic fertilizers which jack up his skin. They kind of jack with my skin a little bit, and it makes it hard to breathe. I wouldn't be surprised, I have several autoimmune conditions and I tend to react to chemicals, and I believe our place has toxic mold. Actually, I'm pretty sure it does. You can see the mold leaking through the bathroom into the kitchen. Nice little mold bubble, but part of our lease agreement, there's something that I believe it's the CDC or the EPA claim that mold does not cause any health issues. Pretty sure millions, maybe even billions of people can testify otherwise, although many of them probably don't know their health issues are from mold exposure. But I likely have a condition known as chronic inflammatory response syndrome, also known as C.I.R.S, where I react to different chemicals, and I live in a moldy townhome, which I need to get away from. And no matter what I do for my health, all the various supplements that I take, eliminating the food allergens and food sensitivities, and eating an anti-inflammatory diet, doing sauna, doing infrared light, doing cold showers. Some of these people call these biohacks. These various things that I do, they can get me to 90 to 100%, but because I live in a moldy environment and I'm being exposed to toxins, like another example is they tore up the road and they're redoing it where we live. The next 3 days I had bad brain fog and fatigue, and some of my inflammation in my skin and my joints started to show up. And I attribute that to because every time I would go outside, I would come back in and not feel so good. And I ended up being like that for a few days. Nothing you can do about it. I jumped in the sauna for about 20 to 30 minutes a day. I think 2 out of 3 of those days. I do my cold shower every day. I count to at least 100. And I do my infrared light on my legs, my knees, and I also have one that shines through my shower. I also have my breathwork practice, which really helped to de-stress you. And now I'm getting back to the breathwork practice. Here we go. One of my favorite breathwork practices, some call it the dragon breath. It's kind of similar to holotropic breathing, the Wim Hof method. Holotropic breathing was invented by Stanislav Grof. Sorry if I butchered his name,
but it's been around for a long time. Some people use it to get into hallucinogenic states. Some people do it to really de-stress themselves. And it also, though, it doesn't de-stress you right away. It's actually a lot of these things like the cold shower, the heat exposure, the dragon breath. They're known as hormetic stressors. They're like short-term stress, but they ultimately lower your chronic stress. I feel really supercharged after I do the dragon breath. It's kind of like doing some espresso. Once you get out of the zone where you get the oxygen back in your brain, because there's some long breath holds at the end, so you're a little bit spacey, but when you come back down, it sets you up for a while, just doing like some good old shots of espresso. And I sometimes may look strange while I'm walking my dog and doing the breath work, but I don't care. I have this saying that I've been using for years called live life watching, but put on a good show just in case they are. Well, chances are with all of our devices tapped into the Internet of Things, they are watching. Cameras everywhere, microphones everywhere. You utter the words, okay, gurgle. Ha, you should probably know what I'm talking about, and then your device is listening. My lady Rihanna's phone does that all the time. She'll pick it up and it was recording what she was saying and coming up with search results. I'm glad mine doesn't do that, but I try not to utter that phrase around my phone. Okay, back to the dragon breath. Here we go. What I'm going to do is inhale and exhale really fast, at least 21 times. Some people say up to 30 times. And you inhale really hard, exhale really hard, like that. See what I mean? You walk past somebody that might be, what's wrong, sir? And no, do not do it into a brown paper bag. And then somewhere in the middle, and I've heard different ways of doing it, you would want to hold your inhale for 5 to 10 seconds, exhale for 5 to 10 seconds, a little bit of a breath hold, and then you go back and you do 21 to 30 more of the dragon breaths. And then at the very end, you exhale all your air and then hold, and then you inhale all of your air and then hold for as long as you can. And you get hypoxic at that point. And that's when you start to feel spacey, and you got to be careful. This is something you do not want to do if you are swimming in a pool or in water, because people have been known to drown. But when you get yourself into this state, if you've ever seen the Iceman Wim Hoff, he could do some pretty crazy stuff. I mean, this guy's climbing up snow mountains in his shorts and doing all kinds of other things. I don't have to explain him. If you don't know who he is, you need to get learned and check him out. Just go on the YouTube, look him up. He is awesome. All right, here we go with the dragon breath. 3, 2, 50. Dragon breath part 2. Like taking in the big hit of the joint, man. You just hold for as long as you can. Sometimes take in another breath if you can. Sometimes I can hold my breath for up to a minute. Sometimes I might only last 10 seconds.
But after the being brought up by that, feeling a little bit spacey, like I'm floating, now I can feel a sense of calmness, a sense of being aware and in the moment. It's like it slows life down. It's, something we've had to experience lately. I've honestly needed life to slow down for me because I am very type A, go, 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 and I need to chillax just like him. But he's chillaxing here because he wants to go further. What do you think? Should we take him? Yeah, let's go. I need eggs. I gotta call ahead. Make sure they have them. And they answer the phone.
I have to maintain a very healthy diet, especially when it comes to what I don't eat as opposed to what I do eat. So when it comes to eliminating food sensitivities and allergies like dairy and gluten and certain nightshades, that just leaves you mostly with meat and fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds. And I am here for eggs, which is a big staple in my diet. I eat about 3 dozen a week right now.
This is why I called ahead. They don't have any eggs. I have to go elsewhere.
But I don't mind it at this point. I get to ride my bike 2 or 3 days a week, and it keeps my legs strong. I get to work on my neck tan, and I get to maintain my healthy lifestyle. Besides walking the dog, I also exercise in the gym 4 or 5 days a week, and here we are for some eggs. Did I find them?
Eggs. Dun, 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 dun.
Keys to health and wellness is consistency. You have to keep chipping away at the good habits as you take away the bad habits, and just be consistent. You might be consistent 90% of the time, could be 100% of the time, could just be 80% of the time. But when you have autoimmune issues like myself, I have to stay more towards 90 to 100% of the time. And so I have to keep doing these good habits, like staying in the kitchen a lot, which really helps having a radio in the kitchen, and I listen to a lot of podcasts. Keeps my mind occupied and keeps me entertained and makes the time go by really fast. I don't mind it at all anymore, actually. I kind of enjoy it.
Avocado, motherfucker!